So I want to start off here at the island. I know I do this a lot with you guys, but I want to spend a little more time today chatting about some of these items just to give you an idea of my thought process. Starting with these candles, I picked these up at Hobby Lobby. I love the ribbing on these, but I did grab some that are not ribbed as well. So I've got a set for the mantle, which I'll probably use these ribbed ones on the mantle. Probably will also end up cutting them. And then these tapered ones on the dining table. I love the idea of a tapered candle for a dining table. I think that looks really elegant. And then we're going to also be using this beautiful table runner. This was from Hobby Lobby. I love the fringing on it and this earthy green material. I thought this would be a great way to bring in a little bit of that enchanted green cottage look. Along with these ferns, I grabbed these at Hobby Lobby as well. I'm really just trying to create an enchanted witch's cottage. Nothing too obviously Halloweeny. I want to use actual decor. These scrolls I'll talk about more in the future. But they were from Decor Steals. But I love these ferns. They look so realistic and they have that rubbery feel. And then I'll use some of these deeper, sort of more fresh looking greens as filler for the tablescape. I love the different textures and tones of all the different greens together. These are my favorite all-time pumpkins from Hobby Lobby. They're actually stems, so you can stick them in a vase as well. But I love that sort of like, I don't know, wiry look to them. I think they have a very Halloween feel. Now these seed pods, I love these. I think these are so cool, kind of creepy looking, very organic. I think this is exactly what a witch's cottage would have in their decor. And then for the candlesticks, I'm using a combination of some pretty ones. These are all thrifted, these gold ones, some pretty brass ones, some kind of shiny ones, all different sizes. And then I do have these. These are very gothic looking, and I picked them up at my antique shop that's close to me here. They were such a good price, and I loved the look of them. They just have that gothic feel. Going to be adding in some pumpkins. I want it to have that warm, sort of witch vibe texture, as if she's maybe brewing up a delicious, scary, spooky dinner in this cauldron. This is that brass pot I showed you recently, along with some more thrifted items. Now let's talk about these scrolls. I got these from Decor Steals. My favorite YouTuber, Cass and Home, used them last year in her Halloween decor, and I love them so much I had to get them. I love the organic, sort of scrolly, elegant look to them. Now let's get started decorating. We're going to head over to the dining table and get started on the tablescape. So for the stems on the tablescape, I have two of each of these types. One that was $6.99, one that was $7.99, and then later on I'll use the ferns, and those were $9.99. And what I'm planning on doing here is just kind of layering and building, and you'll see as I go along, I'm going to have to kind of tweak the greenery a little bit and sort of intertwine all of the different pieces of each stem together so they look like one. I also wanted to show you these ferns up close because originally I had said that they were from Hobby Lobby, but I actually picked them up at Michael's. So if you're on the lookout for these realistic looking rubbery ferns, you won't find them at Hobby Lobby. I thought the ferns needed to be at the bottom, so I just kind of worked them back into the underneath side, and again, just sort of lifting all of the greenery up and around itself. Now I'm gonna add these seed pods. I wanna say I have 5 of these, so I'm just gonna tuck them in wherever I think there's an empty space. Now I can't underestimate how important it is to add these types of lights to any sort of tablescape for the holidays, especially if you're looking for an enchanted look or something that's magical. Now here in the center, I've got these branches that are showing, and I did that by design. I want to put this copper pot here and use it as a cauldron. So I'm just gonna fill it up with some items that will help me raise up the inside of it. And then we're going to place some of these lights in. Now these lights look a little bit more white or clear on camera. In reality, they're almost like an orangey color, and so I thought they would make almost like a fire glow. And I'm gonna top these off with a little bit of the cobwebs. I just didn't stretch them out. And that way, hopefully it would look like a smoking cauldron. This is what it looks like before I add in this super spooky skeleton head. I thought this was the perfect spooky touch to add to this tablescape. And I wanna hide the battery pack, so I'm just gonna place some of this greenery filler around the base of the cauldron. And now we're just coming in with more filler. I've got all different types of greens that I'm going to kind of tuck in random places, wherever there's an empty space, especially underneath. So one of the things I think looks really cool, especially with these little sort of round looking ferns, is to tuck them in underneath and create a little bit of depth and dimension beneath the ferns. Now, a spooky witch's dinner would not be complete without spooky stirring spoons. So I thought these would complement the theme perfectly. Just gonna add in a few more pumpkins and give it more of like a spooky harvest look. And these are my favorite candlesticks for a Halloween spooky table setting. Just going to tuck them in here inside the greenery so they look like they belong. Add some black tapered candles, and this tablescape is complete. Now, I do love the way this table looks in the daylight, but wait until the end of the video when the sun is beginning to go down. This has such an elegant, enchanted look. I absolutely love it. Now we're gonna move over to my mantle, just giving it a quick cleaning, and we're gonna sort of follow that same pattern. We'll be layering stems. I do have one garland that I'm going to use to drape over the front of the fireplace mantle, but for the most part, we're just going to layer and add lights, just like we did on the tablescape. Now this bowl I got in the summer Decor steels box. I absolutely love it. As soon as it arrived, I knew I wanted to use it here as a cauldron. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and it's a great complement here to the center of the mantle. And then we'll just build around it with all of the greens and all of the decorations. If you're trying to create a layered look like this, don't be discouraged at the beginning if it doesn't look like much. The more you add and the more you layer, the better it looks. And then finally, when you get to the end, you look back and you go, wow, that really looks great. But it really doesn't start out that way. So you just got to trust the process and keep going. Aren't these pods so creepy looking? I picked them up during the summer at Hobby Lobby. They were like $1.16 on clearance, and I thought they would be perfect for a Halloween mantle. And these are the wheat stems that I used during my fall decorating, but I thought they would add a nice contrast. That brown light color is perfect against all of this dark colored greenery. Now I'm finally coming in with these scrolls. I absolutely love them. I think they're beautiful, and they kind of create a little bit of a Victorian look here next to the television and sort of warm up this space. We're adding in a couple of books just beneath so that I can have a riser for some of those candlesticks that we showed earlier in the video. And we'll be using those black ribbed candles. I did cut them so they're all different heights, and I thought that they would look perfect here in front of this wood scroll. Now on this side, we're going to add in another scroll just to create a little bit of symmetry. These books as a riser, again, to create a little bit of a similar look. We will be doing something a little different here. I'm only going to add one candlestick on this side, and then I'll be adding in this black metal haunted house. Now I love this wicker pumpkin. I used it during my fall decorating as well, but I thought it would be a perfect, warm, cozy, and spooky touch here beside the fireplace. And then of course, what witch's cottage would be complete without her broom? And so we're just gonna place this here next to the fireplace. Now we're moving over to the peg shelf, one of my very favorite places to decorate. This is another one of those Etsy prints. I used this guy last year. And then to the side of the shelf, I'm going to add in this beautiful amber glass colored heart-shaped jar. This was a thrift find. This is an old photo. I picked it up at a garage sale. It came complete with a frame, and I thought it was super spooky. And then we're gonna work over on the other side of the picture We'll be adding in this thrifted, beautiful flower arrangement. This was last year's item at Target. I don't know why somebody would have donated it, but lucky me, I found it. And I thought it would make a perfect arrangement here next to this picture. And now to the other side, we're just going to be adding one more of this wire looking pumpkin. I thought this would be perfect to bring in some texture on the shelf in front of that picture. And this guy I thought was so cute. He's got a little bit of a glam look to him with these sparkles, but I thought he would be a really cute addition here on top of this spooky photo. Beside that, I'm also going to place one more battery-powered candle. One of the things I love at night is when these battery-powered candlelight flames flicker, and they make the pictures look really spooky and more interesting. Now I wanted to share with you this thrift find. I picked this up for $4.99 and I absolutely love the frame. I hated the picture inside. So I downloaded this beautiful owl from Etsy and I thought this would look perfect here inside this matting on the frame. And so we just went ahead and removed the backing. You got to do this carefully because you don't want to, crack the backing on it. So that way when you are putting it all back together, it will hold the glass piece in. But once you remove that, then you just simply cover over the existing picture with your desired print. Now, I used some double-sided tape just to hold it into place. And that's pretty much it. It is so easy to create your own beautiful work of matted art for pennies on the dollar when you are thrifting. I think this is such a pretty piece of artwork and it has a little bit of a dark academia look to it. So we're gonna head over to this 9-drawer cabinet. We're gonna dust it off a little bit and continue on that dark academia look with this beautiful owl picture just leaning up against my mirror. Now check out this absolutely stunning candelabra. I thought this was so beautiful. I picked this up at a consignment shop and I thought it was perfect for Halloween. Now on top of that wood box, I'm just gonna add some fake Spanish moss along with some of these greenery pieces that I've been using throughout the house, and one more of these little shrunken heads, and then we're just going to place a glass cloche over top of it to enclose everything. Now since we want to continue on with this dark academia look, we're going to go ahead and place these books here in front of this owl picture. On top of these books, we're going to place this skull with the raven on top. I picked this up at Michael's this year, and I thought it was a perfect addition to this look that we're trying to create here. Now, since I have a lot going on everywhere else in the house, I wanted to keep my coffee table sort of simple. So I just came in with this black vase along with some of those dark purple florals. I've got another candelabra here and we're going to be using some black candles here on top. I wanted to add in just a little bit of the orange color that I've been using everywhere throughout the house. So I thought this little pumpkin shaped candle would be perfect here. Now we're moving over to the piano bench in the dining room and I'm going to start with this stack of old books. And then on top of the old books, I've got this beautiful vase. This actually used to be pink. I thrifted it, but I ended up painting it with a mixture of like barn red and brown. And then I'm gonna come in with these asparagus ferns, at least I think that's what they're called. I love the prickly look to them. I think they're exactly what a witch would decorate with. They're sort of creepy and flowy, but also prickly and ugly. Now, I've had my eye on these Studio McGee witch hats for so long, but every time I check the website, they're sold out. I think they are just stunning. I think they're beautiful and elegant, and I was so bummed that I couldn't get my hands on them this year. But I did find these at Ross, and what a deal. Now, they're not exactly the same, but I think they're a great look-alike, and I wanted to style them here on this piano bench. Now, let's take a look at how everything has come together. Be sure and watch to the end, because as the sun goes down, everything takes on a slightly different spooky look. I want to say thank you so much for being here with me today and decorating for Halloween. I hope you enjoyed seeing how everything came together, and be sure and check out this video. It's a fun one.